live at the F1XL. I don't even know where we are. Round 8, China. I should know where we are. I've just tweeted it. I have King Liam with me as my co-host, or co-commentary host for the race, and it looks like it's going to be a dry race. But King Liam, why don't you go and speak about what you think the tyre life and who's going to do what for the race? I'll just drop you in the deep end big time.
Thank you, Walter. Hi, F1XL. I think it'll be an interesting race. I think more from the top drivers, like you got Vidal, Binary, Night Fury, Joe, and you got the very quite quick drivers, and I feel like they're going to go on the soft tyre just for the simple reason that the softest tyres on every track in this game get really hot and you struggle very quickly. You can get probably about good 1-2 laps out of tyres and then they start overheating. You're going slower and you just have no grip. It feels like you've got like a lot of punches on your car that you haven't. Then I feel like some of the middle to low slower cars, I feel like they're going to go onto the softest tyre and try and get up there on the top, because obviously they kind of want more position than they do being at the bottom, because they need to obviously fight against the quickest drivers and try and stop them. And it sometimes works out, sometimes doesn't, but I feel like we could be out here for a very good race, especially with Vidal being quite low in the championship right now. But got a good race last race, so yeah, it should be an interesting race.
I am looking forward specifically to what. Obviously, we've got Wardell back racing now, but the likes of Adi the Man and Coxey, what they've got in store for us, because they've been incredibly fast, especially Adi coming up from as an F2 champion and showing people that he's not just an F2 guy, he's probably an F1 racer as well, which is positive. Obviously, Binary's leading the way in the championship at the moment, but Coxey's, well, both McLarens really. I know we don't have, I can't remember, it's not Light Shock racing tonight, but both McLarens have been really, really strong so far this season. Do you think Coxey's got what it takes to give Binary a title challenge?
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's second in the championship, so he's already doing something right, and he's a pretty consistent driver, to be fair. There's always positions of being in the top 10, so he hasn't actually had a race without points. So he's doing pretty well to keep up with Binary, and I feel like he's definitely one of them drivers to come out of nowhere and try and win. And especially like Night Fury as well, who's also been doing quite well and had maybe 2 unlucky races, but I feel like he'll bounce back again because he's a very good driver as well. So I feel like the top runners who are normally down Binary could be under threat with these other drivers who are now coming into the league.
It's always difficult at the start. We're not sure who's going to... Sky the Senpai, is he retired?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's odd to retire. I wonder if he's binned it somewhere. But it's always difficult at the start of qualifying, because we're not sure who's going to go fastest. As Vidal's done a 1:31.8 on Ultras, that's not as fast as I was expecting from. Or am I thinking of it the wrong way around? Is the 31 a quick time? I'm not sure.
That's a pretty decent. I think Vidal's time's quite slow, but obviously just proven by Night Fury, he's just gone about 7 tenths quicker. So obviously he might have gone somewhere wrong there on his lap, or he might be thinking about going a bit slower on those tyres and try and beat it on a softer pair. I've seen quite a lot of people doing that lately, going on the softest tyre, going out and then doing a different tyre and try and beat their original lap.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure. We spoke just briefly before the stream started that maybe some of the topper end drivers, the effective tier 1 drivers, were going to go on the softer tyres, and specifically we were thinking that maybe Dark Predator would go onto the Ultras and go really quite fast on them, but Adi the Man's done a 1:32.1, which is something I'm a little bit if Vidal's, maybe they're both going for, I don't know, just purposely going slower. I'm not sure if that's something that you might agree on.
I mean, they could be just slowing down, or they could just be actually struggling. I mean, that is an absolute brilliant lap from Night Fury there to do a 1:31.1, and especially on the setups that they have to use on these tracks. It's a very, very good lap. But it's also, the difference is people using setup 3 to setup 4, who's more confident. I know a lot of drivers don't like having that rear end going out a lot, so they end up going for the setup 3, but they're quicker in that middle sector but slower on the straight. So I feel like we'll see a lot, and just proving my point is that Jack's just gone third place behind Vidal and is only 0.8 off Vidal.
I was just watching Jack when he went over the line, or Nuthead when he just went over the line, and it sounded like he went off the gas a little bit when he was coming onto the final straight. I don't know if he's holding a little bit back, or if that's just a little bit of an engine glitch from Codemasters. It is a possibility. We know how great Codemasters is, but coming back to what you said earlier, people are maybe not showing their full hand, so to speak, so early on in the qualifying. Times are going to tumble a little bit, obviously, when the track gets bedded in a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see, because a lot of people are going on the ultra soft tyres, and I wasn't expecting that. Got to admit, I was thinking maybe softs.
It's definitely one of those things. If the quickest drivers go on the ultras, everyone else follows. Definitely, especially if a lot of the time, if like Dow went on the quickest tyre and set like a pole lap, you get a lot more people will follow him doing it than if they would go on and change a different strategy. For instance, I mean, I think the only person on the softs right now in this quality session who's actually still in the pits though is Chris on softs right now, and he's the only one at the moment on softs that is set on softs, and Uncle Ben Rice as well, who's in 5th place on softs. So it could be a very interesting last 10 minutes for this qualifying session.
Could very well be. I'm just going to turn the volume down in level, because I've just been asked that it's a little bit loud for the stream. So I'm hoping I'm not burning anyone's ears with the loudness of that.
Or me.
Well, I'm hopeful that now it's all fixed and done. I think I was following Pred to see what kind of time he's on the Ultrasoft, to see he's done some really good in qualifying. He's been really rapid, but Japanese Grand Prix, the pace just fell off him really, really quickly.
He struggles a lot on tyres. He's definitely one of the drivers who struggle to keep tyres in the right temperature, to keep the right amount of speed through the whole race. So, but hopefully he could slowly sort that out and get a bit better. I mean, I know he tries his hardest, and especially the love of Ferrari he has for it. Quite hard to keep these tyres cool. I mean, I've had times where I've even struggling qualifying sometimes with the tyres overheating. And I know doing more than one lap sometimes on these softs are actually quicker than doing just one lap on these softs, because they take a little bit longer to heat up compared to the ultras. So you end up doing kind of like the same amount of percentage of on wear on these tyres. As Coxey's just gone 6th place with a 1:33.0.
I don't know if you noticed how much he slowed down on that start-finish straight, because I think he must have made a mistake somewhere and realised that lap isn't, and maybe he's going to go onto the soft next.
Well, it's showing me here on the thing that Vidal might be going out on softs next. So that might be proving the point where they've slowed down at the end of their laps and they're getting used to the track. And the Hanson's also on softs now, so I think a lot more people are going out on softs now to get their laps in.
So we could have been right at the beginning saying that maybe the ultras were just bankers, as I've just seen Wardell nearly just tank slap it into off the track, but he's managed to save it on the back straight. It looks like he's on a lap for the ultra softs. But yeah, those guys on the softs, or that look like they're going onto the softs, because that's nearly half of the grid. That's a lot of people going to hunt for a one stop, and obviously, well, any accidents on the road or on the track that's a very strong time considering he's had nearly most of the season out without having a wheel. So
that's a very good lap for him, definitely. And I think definitely for Night Fury, he's pushed himself straight on ultras, and I think he wants pole. I don't think he'll have any chance of being that time on the softs, especially for how much more quicker it was than Vidal's time.
Yeah, I think
it's interesting to see how a lot of people have not put lap times in at the moment still.
Yeah, that's nearly half the grid, isn't it? That's not set a lap time. I think with Night Fury, he wants clean air from the start, from the get-go, as he's gone faster still. So, not by much, but enough. As I didn't even notice Pingers has managed to get himself up
to P2. Jesus P2. Christ, what a lap!
So the soft guys now have a little bit of work on their hands, because if they're too far down, then they're going to get caught in a lot of traffic.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see any slipstream helping here, especially on that long-ass straight they've got on here. And I wonder if any teammates will be helping each other. I mean, even backmarkers sometimes on the straight, you get a good amount of slipstream from them to slowing down, letting you pass. You get a good amount of slipstream from them. But we definitely wouldn't think that two Force Indias would be 1 and 2 in qualifying right now. No, there's still 5 minutes left, but definitely not a thing we would look for.
It's not something we've seen in F1 in a long time, is two Force Indias 1 and 2. Is slipstream a tactic that, back when you were racing with Pred, because I've commentated a fair few in the past where I thought you and Pred are definitely trying to help each other out. Is that something that you were doing, or not so much? Was it just that we caught you on a couple of tracks that you managed to do it?
Definitely, all the time. You would always stick it in the conversation when you're talking to each other, especially when you choose the softer tyre versus the people using the quickest tyre. You want to get as high up as you possibly can, because the higher you are with them, slowly in the race you'll become quicker than them, and then you'll start gaining positions, and you won't obviously have to make as many overtakes, and you won't ruin your tyres as much. But I would think I've seen 3 people right now are on ultra softs, and the rest are on softs.
It's going to be interesting to see what Pred is going to be able to muster up, because I think he's going to be the first one to finish a lap properly on soft tyres. It is
P4.
Pretty good time. I think there could be room for improvement. He might go again. There's still enough time for him to go again. I'm not sure how
Definitely.
that would affect tyre wear.
He's only got 50 RS, so I don't know if he'll... he's gone on 0, so I don't think he'll be doing anything this lap. He might go for another one after. But it's saying that he's not using any RS, so he might just save it up and do another lap. If I was him, I definitely would do another lap. Just because I feel like these tyres work a lot better on the second lap than they do on the first lap. It'll be interesting to see if Vidal could beat his own time. I know it's probably not the quickest he could possibly do, but sometimes you can think, oh, I've done a slow lap on the ultras, and then you actually can't beat it on the softer tyre, on the harder tyre.
Yeah, that's the main thing is, you've got to set a time that's not too out of the blue to stop people from thinking, or to confuse people a little bit, I guess is the best way to say it. But you've also got to make sure you can beat that time as well, because if you might
his lap.
Oh, let's head quickly over to Jack.
Oh no, he's about to start his lap. Sorry,
I was about to say
he's on his out lap. Yeah.
back to validated, because I know he's coming to the hairpin to finish his lap, so it'll be interesting to see how he does, because he's had some pretty good times this season already, and a bit of bad luck here and there, but he could be higher up in the table if it wasn't for that. But it's only P9 for him, and the 132.1, so I'm not sure if he will go again. There is enough time for him to slowly go around the track and then hit it off again. I don't think Vidal has given himself enough time for that to happen. I think it's just going to have to be a one-lap hit for Vidal.
Yes, definitely. Still, Fury hasn't come out again. I don't know if he's waiting for a little bit longer to come out, or he might not come out. Boris has just gone into the pits, so I don't know if he'll be pushing it to get out again and get the lap out.
That's a weird one from Boris. I don't think he's going to be able to get out in time. I am going to go on board with Jack, see if he can see where he can go in this.
Bit of a lock-up going wide.
Yeah. A little bit too much of a lock-up, I think. I think it might have harmed him, but definitely not letting off this time. And I don't think it's quicker.
He hasn't improved.
So he's probably going to be wanting to hope for someone to knock him out.
Boris is straight out.
Has he got enough time?
Set. He might just make it. He might. It's going to be very close for Boris to get a lap in. I think Binary might be going for another lap, maybe. He's using very low ERSs. What's very interesting, I have to say.
It's really tight at the moment. We're not sure who's going to do what, and the Force Indias could
have P1 and P2.
Has Vidal pull out of his lap? It looks like he's doing a last
backed
go.
Out. Yeah. I think he's about to just go for a last lap banger and just go for everything.
So it doesn't look like Coxey's been able to improve.
That's very also very interesting with ERS usage and how people use it. If they'll save it up to use it on the straight, or if they would rather have ERS. I think Binary is on the lap because he's now using 5, and I think he was saving his ERS for the last part of the lap. What is a very interesting way, because you've only got a certain amount of deployment in your lap. And there he goes across the line. P4. So yeah, it's definitely something different. I've not seen that one before. Saving his ERS just through the start of the lap and wanting to use it more, as Night Fury's gone even quicker.
It's not by much,
but it's definitely quicker. I think he just wiped pole there.
Yeah, I think he was desperate for it. It's gonna be weird to see, or it's gonna be interesting to see if those two Force Indias can keep a hold of that 1-2 position, because that will. Pingers might be able to play the long game there for Night Fury and just hold up enough of the other drivers for long enough for Night Fury to make that 2-stop work. I don't know how much practice they've had about that this week at all, but it's going to be interesting to see where Vidal, he's taken that hairpin pretty well actually. I thought he'd messed it up at first, but
yeah, he's run out of deployment, which was different to Binary, who had deployment still. So he's now got the rest of it without ERS.
He's
and P3, about 5/10 off. Was a very good lap, considering he's only 1/10 off the ultra softs of Pingers. Oh, and Walters has gone off. I don't know if he was on a lap or not.
Oh, Jack nearly goes into the back of, I think, Coxey there. I'm not sure if Jack's on a lap or if he's.
I think here we go, but Chris has gone second place, 0.91 off pole position.
Splitting
Very
the Force
close
Indias.
there.
Coxey
I think
is not
that's
going for a lap.
yeah, I think that's the only driver now. Sky being 17th place.
It's unfortunate for Sky, but I'm not sure what happened because he retired quite early on. Fury's really off the pace. I'm not a Dual X Fury. There's too many Furies now. But yeah, Dual X Fury's quite off the pace this season, which is unexpected because he was pretty rapid at the end of last season. But this season he's, I think maybe new game, and he's just not adapted to it as well as clearly others.
I think he had a lap invalidated, which was the second lap on the softs, and I actually think it would have been was a 132.5, so would have put him up near top 3 area. So
that's...
he would have been up there if he didn't invalidate his lap, maybe. But I suppose that's what comes when you're doing qualifying.
Yeah, and he is a penalty kick. Well, I'm not sure why I'm getting XP for spectating, but I'll take it. That's fine.
I'll take it as well.
So we have Night Fury Damage in the Force India taking pole position, and Simple Chris, Red Bull, second position, and the other Force India of F1XL Pingers in third. Vidal, the first of the soft runners, in fourth. Wardell, fifth in an ultra soft tyre position in the Toro Rosso. Nice return for Wardell. I know it didn't go well for him last week. And Binary, the other Red Bull on softs, the second soft starters. I've not been able to make it through the list because I'm talking too much about what tyres and what they were doing last week, which is stupid of me. Anyway, so a lot so far going on in qualifying, but where do you reckon this is going to lead? Because there's going to be loads of different strategies going on here.
I think Wardell might get. I think he'll get Vidal definitely on that on the start, maybe, because the soft tyres will obviously take a little bit long to warm up. It'll be a very interesting first corner. This is a very weird first corner, especially from other tracks. It's just a right-hand bend. A lot of times you get like a lot of free wide because people go wide, or there's quite a lot of room. But then when you obviously go into the second corner or the second pass, it gets very tight. So that's where it starts getting very awkward for some drivers, and some drivers get pushed off and stuff like that. So I feel like we'll have a little bit of a few front wings getting clipped off at the front, or someone getting spun. I mean, I hope it's a very clean start, but that's what I feel like is going to happen. But I feel like a lot of people who are on ultras will have a lot better start and a lot quicker than the softs, obviously, because they light up and warm up quite quick. And you're very interesting how people take their formation laps as well.
Do you think Simple Chris went onto those ultras on purpose to give Binary a helping hand through the first couple of laps? Because it's unusual for Simple to be on the faster tyre. I've noticed in the in the season and a half that I've been commentating on F1 that Simple's very much the long game kind of guy. This time he's gone the quick game, which I'm not expecting. Well, definitely wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I think he might be there purely to help his teammate out. I think if he'll get a good start, obviously he'll be straight in the lead, which will help his teammate a lot. And I think that's what are very good about the Red Bull team, that they're very, very good teammates, and they talk a lot, and I think they do quite a lot of practice with each other as well. So I think they'll work that out through the race to see if they can get Binary through the pack on those softs, and see if they can obviously win this race together.
It's amazing how much more of a team game you expect this game to be at times, because sometimes it's not as clear cut as it seems as first. But like you said earlier, when you were with Pred, if the slipstream's there, you use it and you help build your teammate up. And I nearly got a bit panicky then, because this formation lap always throws me. But yeah, crazy. Don't know how this is going to go. It's not what we expect on the front row. Maybe not Fury Damage.
Taurus is just fun.
But Simple Chris and Pingers, not what we expect to be so high up. And that's no disrespect to them. It's just definitely going to be a different way, a different race, really, as Wardell is disqualified.
After spinning in the first corner, so it'll be interesting what we'll see in the first corner there. Very, very interesting to see people warm their tyres up on ultras. I've done quite a few races. If I've qualified on the softest tyre, I don't bother warming them up. For the simple fact they warm up quite quickly after the start anyway, and because they overheat very quickly, and you gain quite a lot of percent warming up these tyres for some reason. So it will be interesting for how hard people will push their tyres on the formation lap. I think you'll see a lot of the soft drivers proper looking at trying to warm those tyres up to get them into gear and get them to start to catch up. Because I feel like Night Fury, Chris, and Pingers will start moving up and maybe start getting away from Vidal and that lot. But I feel like after a little while, when the ultras start to wear off, those softs are going to be rapid, especially Vidal using them and Binary. And I think Binary and Vidal might even have a quite interesting battle. It'd be quite nice to see the two championship rivals. I mean, they're not very close to the championship, but I feel like they will be by the end of the season to see who can be on top in this race and how well Night Fury and Chris can look after their tyres and Pingers, because I know they're very hard tyres to look after.
An addition that I've completely forgotten to mention is Light Shock has entered the race, so we have got 18 races from the start of this race. He's in the Williams instead of the McLaren. I'm guessing it's something to do with the lobby not giving him the tyre the car he wanted, but it's so we're back up to 18, and we're very, very close to the start of the Chinese Grand Prix for F1XL. And yeah, as it's your first commentary experience with me, I will let you take away the start.
Thank you very much. Here we go. So 3, 4, 5 lights, and away we go. Bit laggy, but well. Night Fury got a good start on the Ultra Softs. Let's see if Pingers getting down. Oh, Pingers has lost it. Vidal's got ahead of him. That's a very good start for Vidal on those soft tyres, definitely. And Binary going down the inside as well. Binary's down the inside. Chris has had a brilliant start getting into the first place, and Binary and Vidal side by side into the second part of the corner. Here we go, Chris on the straight. I think Night Fury struggling a little bit to keep up with it, Chris. Clearly, Chris has got a bit more setup. But side by side, Vidal down the... Binary down the inside. Oh, they've touched. But Binary, I think, is going to get better traction control when he's got ahead of him. Yep, Binary's got ahead of Vidal, so that's an absolute brilliant start from Binary there, getting into up to third place. And now this kind of runs in perfectly into Chris, as we have Jack passing Wardle, who's not had the greatest start possible for where the position he was. We've got Hansen still in 5th place, so a lot of drivers. That's quite a clean start. And Jack losing it. Jack's in the wall. Jack's lost the car. He's straight in the wall. That boy does not have very good luck.
I saw the Renault just completely tank slap it out of that. Was there contact, or was that just...
I think it was a tank slapper. It just moved left and right and just lost the rear and went straight into the wall, which is a very big shame. But we've got Vidal going right out the back and going around the outside. Can Vidal get past Binary, who could break later? Side by side. Binary's not going to give him any room possible and didn't give him a chance. Well, gives Hansen a chance behind Vidal, but backs out of it because it's not very side by side corner there.
I was going to say, Vidal's got to be careful where he tries to overtake Binary, because he's got Hansen just behind him, and well, this battle for third place is going to be on for a long time, because Hansen, he's on the soft tyres as well, and he's definitely not one to count out. I believe he won it here last season ahead of Dual X Fury, so Hansen's not one to count out in the race for the win. For the run out for the win yet. And I can't, the Simple Chris and Night Fury Damage haven't created a lead that I thought they would. I know they're only on lap 2, but I thought they would be a little bit further in front. Pingers definitely didn't have the start that he wanted, and he's down to 6th. He's not been able to help out Night Fury Damage, but that start from Simple Chris and Binary, the two Red Bull guys, absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, definitely. I've seen quite really good overtakes down the pack of Joe making a very good move. Some more overtakes with Sky and 80 Man, who's quite far down right now and is quite stuck in the pack right now, which kind of causes a little bit of rubber for the Mercedes, because obviously one's in 4th and one's in 13th, so I'll be quite interested to see how far he can get up the leaderboard. As we're seeing Joe going side by side with Pingers round the outside. Can he get the move done?
Oh, that's
gone round the outside. A beautiful move for Joe. Still side by side though. Will he hold around the outside? He's got ahead of him. Very good move. And Night Fury sets the fastest lap of the race, and he's only 3/10 behind Chris. So clearly Night
Ping
Fury's got
is
some
going
good
back at
grip on
Pred
that.
though. He's not. Yeah, no, he's not strong enough. Pred is not too strong in defensively for Pingers that time around. I think this is where we see the likes of the soft runners, like you were saying, very much in the driver's seat if it comes into a midfield battle. But Fury and Night Fury Damage and Sinful Chris going at it quite heavily for the start, and then there's a train behind Binary, really.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see if Binary and Vidal actually have a battle now. I don't think they have to worry too much about losing too much time to Chris and Fury, but they don't want to lose too much, obviously, because the undercut is very powerful around this track. So if they did get over past probably around 5 seconds, 6 seconds, they would have a chance to get an undercut if that they're doing the one stop. But Night Fury's had a beautiful exit coming around the corner, and he might have, he's 2 tenths behind now. He's going to have a really good chance of getting past Chris. He's got DRS now. No defending from Chris though, gone down the inside, and he's passed. I think he's passed him now. Yep, he's passed Chris.
He has passed.
Very
indeed.
good move.
While that was going on, 80 the man is out of the race. He's lost it at the same place as Nuthead. So that's 2 drivers tank slapping it right where they don't want to do it, really, as it looks like Pingers is going into the pits, and the leaders are currently losing ground to Binary and Vidal. So the soft tyres are definitely taking effect, taking the faster, are becoming faster. So we've got 3 people in the pits: Pingers, Dual X Fury and Light Shock, all going.
And Fury's just got a 5-stop go penalty for speeding in the pits.
It's not.
So that's not helping his day anymore. There already is.
The penalty king is definitely getting more penalties, unfortunately. But from a day where we were thinking maybe Force India are the team to beat, it's very much swinging into the balance of Red Bull.
Oh,
Chris
having a really bad corner, and that's just going to put Binary past him. I think he might let Binary go past, but he hasn't. And Vidal's down the inside, now going around the outside. Oh, they're tapped. Chris has gone. Vidal's gone off of the road. He's off the side of the road now, and Binary's now ahead of Chris, which has helped him, I suppose. And now Hansen's up to 3rd place. It's now 3 right down the main straight. Chris, Hansen and Joe. Joe now down the inside. He's now made a double overtake. Down the inside. Can Hansen hold it? No, he can't. It's absolutely brilliant move from Joe there. Now up to the podium.
Out of nowhere as well. He kind of didn't really...
Chris
he
into
wasn't
the pits.
in the hunt for it.
Also, Night Fury into the pits. So the leader is in the pits. Means Joe and Binary will be 1st and 2nd. And Hansen's still away over the back.
Outside of Frozen at turn 1, and Frozen's just eked him out. So the soft tyres, though saying that, Validated and Coxie are on the medium tyres. They are not too far away from all this battling. And look, it definitely looks like
that was a very awkward situation for the Red Bull, though. Definitely.
Yes. I didn't see the contact on the screen, but
I don't think there was too much. I think it was more because Chris was struggling, obviously, as I said at the start of the race, that these tyres overheat very quickly and they act like a puncher. So I think Binary got held up by his teammate, which let Vidal in the inside, and then had to kind of miss Chris because he was going so slow, which pushed Vidal off the track. But what's also very interesting is Hansen and Joe are DRS of each other, as well as Joe's DRS on Binary. But it's only got 25% ERS, and Binary's got 70. So I think Joe soon's going to have to say some DRS, but as Vidal's now going to get DRS on for Ash, going down the inside, and he's made the move stick.
That is a general bog standard move there down the straight. I don't think Frozen's going to be able to get much of the way back into it. Might be able to get something on the start finish straight here. Got quite a nice camera angle coming from the front. He might No, it's probably the wisest thing to do. Wait until the long straight, but Vidal might might already have left him by that point. But there is 1.5 seconds between him and Hansen, and probably about 3 seconds to Binary, which is not what he wanted.
Yeah, it's a very interesting midfield pack here. Sky, Coxey, Viper, Frozen, Gamers, and Vidal all in DRS of each other. And then you've also got the top three, and Joe keeping up really nicely to Binary, which is going to keep Binary on his back. Joe saving ERS here using only one, so's Binary. And Hansen's just gone wide, so he might be struggling for grip here a little bit just behind these two. But I have to say, it's kind of a surprising front three we've got right now compared to what we thought we were going to have.
Definitely. Night Fury's down in 10th position, but he is on the soft tyres. It's probably what we expected him to go to be honest. Probably ultra soft softs.
Fury's just retired.
Is he retired or did he crash?
Yeah.
Oh, Binary goes a bit wide. Joe takes the corner absolutely brilliantly.
Joe's showing very good pace around this track right now. As Hansen goes wide again.
Indeed.
So I don't know, Hansen's just trying to keep up as quick trying as hard as he can, or he's just got no grip on those tyres at the moment.
I think Hansen might bring Vidal back into play here, which I just can't believe how close Pred gets around these sectors to Binary. It's brilliant times as Sinful Chris just sets the fastest lap. I thought 35 on the soft tyres, back down in 11th place at the moment, so definitely going to be two stopping as Vidal is slowly catching Hansen. Battle of attrition really at the moment, I think, is probably the best way to describe it with these tyres. Don't want to wear them out too much and don't want to overheat them, as we've probably seen Sinful Chris and Pingers and basically everyone who's started on the ultra soft tyres do already. We don't want those happening on the softs. As we're looking, Pred losing a bit of time to Binary now down the back straight, and I think I think you were right in saying Hansen's definitely probably pushing a bit too hard to keep up with the guys in front. As Viper makes a move on Frozen, I think the move is done and dusted. I don't know if there's anything further down the field that you see, Liam, at all?
Sorry, what did you say? Fury's asking for an invite.
I can try and grab Fury. Oh, actually, probably best not me to try and grab Fury into the room, because there is. I'm meant to be the one streaming the battles at the moment.
Joe's very close though again. The first sector seems to be very good for Joe compared to Binary, so it'll be very interesting what setups. I'm pretty sure Joe's using setup 4 in the race as we welcome Fury to the commentary box.
We've got a freeway commentary going for F1 at the moment, which is definitely something new. And that was not meant in any sexual way at all, just to throw that out there now.
But it wouldn't matter if it was.
Yeah. Oh. So Vidal is on the back of Hansen, so he's getting back into this race. I'm not sure what his airs are like, but he's looking like he's wanting Hansen and that podium position. But Hansen's defending the inside line to the hairpin.
We're on the outside.
I think he's going to make some moves. Dick?
He's got the inside, so I think he should have it. Yeah. Oh, no, it's gone
Hansen makes a brilliant move around the...
Beautiful. Go on, son.
Proper Brexit commentary. Round the outside. What a good move. It means Vidal will have the inside and the touch. Touch with banging wheels there. But Also, Binary and Joe. Joe right up behind Binary there. Only 3 tenths going through the first 2 corners. So, but again, Binary's got the add-on of more ERS than Joe. So hopefully Joe can maybe try and, but he is closing in. And Binary is struggling a lot compared to Joe. So clearly Joe's got his tyres on, and there's about 2-second gap between him and Vidal and them that battle, and you've got Hansen still behind him. Viper's now closing in on Hansen again, with Ash, bringing Ash with him, and Coxey right up Frozen's ass as well. And I think, as we say, he's on the mediums.
The top 4 need to be careful about saving their softs compared to the validated on the mediums. Because at the end of the race, he can switch on to softs and be a real danger.
So we've got 2 drivers here that have very high chances of maybe getting a podium on these brand new sets of quicker tyres that they will get at the end of the race. As there's a Renault trying to take that away from Coxey. He's going to go for a move. He went to go for a late, but kind of backed out of it as Coxey nearly went into the back of Frozen. Here's Joe on DRS. He might actually have a chance here, but Joe's got really low on the ERS. He's only about 5% of ERS, but will he go for a move at all? No,
he might just be content to be dragged along until the main straight.
Yes, definitely. That is the closest we've seen Joe this whole time.
Yeah, he's all over
right
them.
there. Binary's definitely struggling on these tyres compared to Joe. Joe's clearly loving life on these tyres right now.
I think
as Vidal is
definitely
slowly catching up now.
Pred's definitely wanting doesn't mind wasting the ERS just to keep in touch with Binary, just to make things, I don't know, maybe scare Binary a little bit, and then maybe try the undercut, maybe pit first out of the 2 of them, and see where things go. But Vidal now is within DRS range of Pred as well, so this is going to be a tasty little battle for first place.
And unlikely that Binary will allow himself to be vulnerable on the main straight with ours. But if Pred can stay this close, he might be able to force him into a mistake or burning up his tyres.
And that might be the way, because Pred is definitely, he just seems to exit the corners a little bit better. I mean, that wasn't a good example there, thanks Pred, you know. But he seems to be as...
Oh, Pred's in the pits.
Is this a little early for the medium stop?
No, they'll definitely make it to the end, but it's all about track position and tyre wear at the end. He gives up the advantage of having fresher mediums to get track position.
Clearly track position is quite a lot when compared to Binary and Joe. And Joe's clearly got the confidence at the moment, so hopefully if he gets some fresh air, he might get to show some pace, as well as Hansen behind him on those mediums. As Pingers might be going round the outside of Hansen. Oh, the tyre actually's gone to hit the rear of Hansen coming out the pits there. So shows a different pace when you come out the pits. But it means Vidal's now into DRS zone of Binary. Oh, as it's just gone out of that. But what a position for Validated Viper and Coxey, being 3rd and 4th place right now on the mediums. They're in a very good situation right now for themselves.
Especially considering where Validated started, outside the top 10.
Definitely come through the pack very nicely.
Taken Coxey somewhere through the race, because Coxey was 11th. I think Validated was 14th. I might be wrong.
Yeah, Viper's made 11 positions, and Sky's made 12 positions. Who's behind Coxey's also made 7 positions.
So, do either of the 2 leaders pit? This is...
I think out of anyone needs to pit, probably Binary. As I say that, they're both going into the pits.
Both in. So, time I think is to watch Predator, see
where you'll come out of it. Yes, there's also Hansen's only a few tenths behind Joe, as Joe locks up nicely into the hairpin. And again, Joe's quite low on the ERS, but he might get it. As Joe's now going down the straight, and Binary's just about to hit the exit. Hit lemma. Yeah, He's going to have the pace on him.
He's going to have
He's gone round the outside, and Joe's taking the lead, or the provisional lead. Beautiful.
So, that's wow. So, it's not. Well, it's helped.
And there's only one lap difference on tyres, so it's now more about pace and how quick they can turn. Because Joe's had a lap on these tyres now. That means they've warmed up a bit more, and now Hansen's closed in quite a lot as well. So he's quite close now. He's helped himself a lot in that situation where he was losing time, and now he's right up with Vidal.
The beauty of hindsight, you'd have to say that Bahrain and Vidal should have probably waited until the end of lap 13, maybe, because they'd already lost track position. They may as well have pushed to have even fresher tyres at the end.
Yeah, I think definitely at that point it was more about fresher tyres, but again, we're at the same point where will Joe start losing time against Binary because of VRS? Because again, Joe's hitting 30% down the main straight while Binary's nearly at 100. And so's Vidal, so they might start.
Hansen's low on DRS, but he's following, so it's easier for him to keep up.
Vidal's got DRS on Binary, and Binary doesn't have DRS on Joe yet, so he's got a very high chance as he's going. Looks like he's going to go for the move, but backs out, it's a bit too far away.
I think that's just a bit more scare tactics.
Yeah, it's Coxey's only 5 tenths off out-of-date Viper right now.
Yeah, this could be a crucial battle to see who will be in front to attack Bahrain and Vidal.
As Sky Pitts, which pushes Chris up into 5th place on the soft tyres. I definitely think starting on the Ultras hasn't helped Chris at all, because he's on 8 laps of soft tyres, and he's got to have, I think he'll definitely pit one more time in this race.
I was going to say Night Fury and Sinful Chris are going to struggle on. I don't think a 2-stop is working at all. We've failed to mention Uncle Ben's Rice, who's driving around really on his own. He's probably not going to cause a battle for the win, but he's just strolling along on those softs, and he could probably go a little bit further, maybe pit this lap or the lap after, and be a real pain on those mediums at the end of the race.
Although he's a good 4.2 seconds off, so I think he might, by that time, might have lost out.
I definitely think Binary's struggling around this track because he hasn't really caught Joe up very, very quickly at all. Still out of DRS.
To be just slipping.
Yeah, it's giving Vidal another chance to see if he can go for another move. I think he's a little bit further away where he was last time, but could he go for a move? Now he's backed out again. But he's hit Binary.
Uncle Ben's
just got under the brakes. Interesting to see where Ben comes out. Taking his tyres a lot longer than anyone else has on those softs.
I mean, I think Fury, you're right. Uncle Ben's probably going to be a bit too far out to cause anyone problems at the end of the race, because he's now down to 12th behind Sky, and Sky's not really an easy person to overtake, because Vidal is ever so close.
Army's now into DRS of Joe.
But Binary just has more ERS, so that might be him just consoling himself at this point, making sure he gets the mediums to the end of the race in a shape that he can actually attack at the end and not be vulnerable.
Binary does have a habit of being able to keep those tyres at the end of the race in a state where he can attack people, so it's probably right with that, and it's going to be interesting to see how this one all pans out. I don't think there's been many penalties other than yourself, Fury, which you're now out of the race, so that's a bit.
What's very interesting is that Chris is ahead of Joe right now, which means that
Red Bull tactics.
Could Chris play that number 2 driver, hold up Joe to give his teammate the lead? But last time he was anywhere near, he kind of pushed.
Binary's gone really bad into that hairpin, and Vidal is.
That was very close between them two.
But
he's got a very good exit though. Here we go, Vidal going around he's going to try and go around the outside of the first corner. Can he make it? It'll be an absolute beautiful move. Going around the outside, he gives Binary the inside though for the second part of it. He's holding it, and if he keeps it here, he'll get the inside for the next corner. He's just put the car nose right there.
Oh
Binary
god,
will
this
have
is
Now we
momentum
should get a
on
better
exit.
exit on the binary. On the binary.
Good
Nice
English.
English.
Oh, switch back, he's
Oh,
taken
he's
him
nipped
out!
the back end of
He's hit
binary.
him!
And binary's in the wall with no front wing.
Oh, that is...
Has he got no front wing? Because
Which
he's
is-
got front wing on my screen.
He's got...
But
I think he's got
Oh,
front
now
wing,
he's
he
got
just got
front
away with... Oh, that's his competitive
disappeared
race
on my screen.
over. Oh,
That's also
no.
really
Oh.
damaged his tyres as well for that, even if he has got no damage. But it's also given Joe a beautiful opportunity. He's now 1.6 ahead of Vidal, as well as now only 4 tenths behind Chris.
And now Chris's
So if he
rollers
can get down
to
the
back
inside.
Joe up into binary is gone. So now he's on a compromised 2-stop as well.
So it's not worked out too well for Red Bull at the moment, especially binary. But he's still in the points, and he's still got a chance. If he can cool down those tyres, he might have a chance still, if he's got no damage.
Issue
But will
is
Joe
he's
go
got
for a move?
Viper behind him.
Looking down the inside, but he can't do it at the moment. It's just a bit too far away, but Joe's going to have to probably make this move soon. But I do wonder if, it doesn't look like it, but I don't know if Vidal might have any damage for hitting or tapping binary on the side of his car. But he seems to be losing a little bit of time. But binary, Joe, sorry, going down the inside of Chris. Beautiful move, nice and clean, past Chris. But Chris has gone back down the
Simple Chris
inside.
he's not given up.
Oh, it's close. But that means Joe's got the inside and he might get the better exit, but Chris might have a bit more speed coming out because he went a little bit wider out to the corner, so it will give him a chance into his next corner. But Joe's just a bit too far away as he
Going to
locks
get
up
worse
going.
and worse for binary now. Validated Viper on fresh softs all over the back of him. I don't think even with out any damage on those tyres from the spin, I think Viper has too much pace for binary to handle.
Yeah, I think you're right. Binary is struggling those overheating of the tyres. I think Vidal went to go for the switchback and go back on the inside and just left it too late and
Just caught the rear
clipped
corner
back
of
end
the car.
binary. I wouldn't say it's malicious, but it's definitely one stewards are going to be really interested with after the race.
I know for a fact that Vidal and binary have a lot of respect between them, even though they do race really hard. But
Coxie fits.
finest margins are going to decide this championship and this race as well.
Coxie pitting now. He's left it much later than validated Viper. I'm going to keep on
Well, we'll
board
come
with
out to
Viper.
Viper.
As Chris pits as well. So that means Vidal's not going to have to worry about overtaking Chris anymore, and he can concentrate on catching up Joe. But he hasn't really caught him up too much on these few laps. Still around
I
2
wonder if
seconds
he's
between each
taking
other.
damage.
And Coxie's emerged behind Viper, just about.
He has. So,
But he's
the
2 laps fresher, and Viper is actually stuck behind binary right now. So
Both
it'll
have
bring
similar
Coxie
amounts
into
of
play.
energy.
Binary's starting to find his groove again, I think, because he's slowly
Yeah, I think the tyres
catching
will slowly
frozen.
cool down from his spin. But Joe's still got some decent amount of pace, keeping it around 2 seconds between him and Vidal.
This is his race to lose.
Definitely, I've got Night Fury ahead in the lead right now, about 3 seconds in the lead, but he's definitely going to have to go for another pit stop, doing 12 laps on those softs right now. You do make you wonder though, there's only 11 laps left. He'll go on a brand new set of ultras and go full out, or he'll actually stick on those tyres and see how long he can go to the end and see if he can go for the win.
I think Vidal has damage to the front right of his...
Viper's going on down the outside. Can he make the move stick?
Oh, he's
Down the
outbraked him.
outside
Oh, he's going to
binary.
hit the back of Frozen.
Oh, does that give a chance for Coxie going down the inside?
Coxie.
Coxie's now made a move. And he joins the track very close to Coxie. Will he see if he can go down the inside? No, he doesn't. That means Coxie's now ahead on brand new sets of soft tyres, and he can now start concentrating, maybe getting binary.
So, Night Fury
Unless-
pits, but
That puts Joe into the lead, 1.8 seconds between him and Vidal. So Vidal's closed him down about 3 tenths now. So that might come into an interesting battle with 10 laps to go.
I think
Hansen
the top
with
three
P3 for
saving
Sauber.
grace will be frozen as a bottle, like stopping Binary, Coxey validated. Potentially, if they all have DRS, they'll form a train behind him. That
With
could
the
save the top
Frozen
three.
at the hairpin. What was going? What as you're both drivers in F1, what was going through the mind of Validated when he saw Frozen a lot slower and trying to overtake Binary? Is obviously he's made the right choice by swerving off the track but losing position. But when you're in that position, what goes through your mind?
Well, personally, having battled Viper quite a lot, it's normally not like him to make a mistake like that and outbrake himself. But I think he was so desperate to get past and still have an advantage with the soft tyres that he tried to outbrake Binary, and Binary is going to be late as possible on the brakes, and he just overdid it. I don't think it was anything to do with Frozen being slow. It was just Viper completely missed his braking zone.
I think what's very interesting is that because they're all stuck in DRS, but also Coxey's had a really good exit out the last corner and might have a little opportunity on Binary. But they're all using pretty much no ERS at the moment. And I've been seeing Sky slowly catching up to the group ahead of him on the mediums, which might give him a little bit of a chance as Ash is struggling a little bit. But he's also not too far off Hansen, only 1.4. And Vidal's now closing in on Joe, but which Binary and Vidal both have 2 warnings, so they're only 1 more warning off a penalty for them two. So Joe's only got 1 warning, so it'll be very interesting to see if maybe a penalty will decide the win.
I was going to say what was Pred's penalty or warning situation like, but I know in F4 last week at Brazil, the penalty system did cost a race victory for someone, so it is possible that penalties, even in F1, can cause, well, people to lose races.
I think if I was Pred now, I'd look heavily into conservative. Even if Vidal will catch up, I think Pred's too good in the corners to be caught out by Vidal, and just saving more energy, he'll be safer on the straights even if Vidal is within DRS.
Especially Vidal using hot lap quite a lot of these laps to catch up.
Binary has been very, very defensive on that hairpin and knocked Coxey off the track and let Validated Viper back through. So I think Binary is now in his mindset of, I'm just going to do everything I can to keep
as Coxey
place.
Viper goes across the grass, which is not going to help him whatsoever. But Binary's actually out of a second now of Ash, or Frozen Gamers, so that means that Binary's still struggling and might have front wing damage from that accident. As this game doesn't like to show if there's damage
That's
at all.
Auto pits again.
But this is giving Viper a chance now to have another go at Binary. And it is very interesting, as I've just seen that Vidal's only a second behind Joe now, so that would be a very interesting battle. But it is quite interesting to see that Binary's not keeping in a second between Ash, which is going to make him lose out for Coxey and Viper, who are very quick at the moment.
Poor exit compared to Viper.
So I think that spin has really cost his tyres that life.
And I'm on board with Viper. He's getting really good slipstream right now. He's using overtake mode. He might run it. He's gone to the right. It's gone to the left. Round the outside. Can he hold it?
Hang it? Oh, Binary's
He's pushed off the track.
So it's like last time. I don't think it's malicious or anything. It's just getting your elbows out and.
It's very legal, but he's also got a very good straight line speed on this one. Going round the outside of Binary. Will Binary allow that? He might push him out a little bit. He's still got his front wing there.
He's going to squeeze him. He's going to
Can
hold
he keep it into that bit? No, he can't.
Coxey's
now round the outside.
I
don't know what happened there, but Viper's now going to get
I think
quite
it was
decent.
A bit of lag.
Viper has he got a chance maybe by dive bombing? Jesus,
to keep
Coxey nearly did.
Between himself and Coxey, as Coxey is his championship rival at the moment. or one of his championship rivals.
As Joe gained about 3 tenths on Vidal on that lap on the first sector. So he's keeping DRS out of it. Hansen losing a little bit of time to the leaders. Ash keeping it 1.4 between Hansen every lap. But having all this squabbling is also getting Binary out of DRS again from Ash, and it's also bringing Sky into the battle. He's now 2.8. So Sky might even be a factor in this fight between Binary, Viper and Coxie.
This is the most vulnerable I've seen Binary in a while. Apart from maybe Japan early when he was trying to stretch his tyres out. I think
Here we go, Viper
not only
might
has
have
it
another
damaged his
go.
tyres, but the spin might have hurt his mental side of
Viper
driving.
round the outside, he's outbraked him, he's going to be ahead of him at the corner.
Beautiful.
And again, the tap,
Come on.
and then we'll
Oh,
tap in
Vipers.
again, but he'll have the inside for the
That's
last
a
corner, so he should
beautiful
have the
move by
lead.
Viper.
Coxie right there as well.
And-
Coxie's
oh,
hit.
Binary's gone wide.
Binary's lost the rear end. I think Coxie might have tapped him, but that also gives him DRS. So now Binary's lost 2 positions in one corner.
And Viper
And has
goes
finally
chasing
let
after
the 2 soft
Gamers,
drivers to
frozen
get
gamers.
through, and now they can go and get Ash. Which now, Vidal's only a second behind Binary now. So now Joe will have a Mercedes in his rear mirror. As we've normally got the Ferrari and Mercedes battle right now. As Hansen is still losing a bit of time. But hopefully we might...
He's just
Coxie's
keeping
still
frozen
behind.
at arm's length at the moment, I reckon.
Yes, definitely. Ash has got one more lap on his tyres compared to Hansen and Joe. We've still got Night Fury, who's on brand new fresh bit of tyres, and Sky, who's only 2 seconds now behind Binary, and Binary is now out of a second behind Coxie, and Viper's now closing in on Ash, and Coxie's only 5 tenths still behind Viper, so Coxie seems to be liking these tyres maybe a little bit more than Viper, and they've been very close
Binary
this
does
whole
not want to
race.
see is Coxie overtake Validated, because it's a massive championship battle going on between those two. There's obviously other people involved as well, but you kind
Always hit
of
Viper slightly.
is there
And
damage?
as we're starting to get battle from Vidal and Joe, which is going to be very interesting for the lead, as Ash has just gone a bit wide in the last corner, but Vidal only being 6 tenths now behind Joe, so we're interested to see if Joe can defend against Vidal and who's got the quickest setup on the straight.
He's
again-
caught quite quickly. I
I
think
think
maybe
this is Vidal just pushing it so he has
Yeah.
enough laps to get it done and then get out up the road.
I think Pred is also. I think Pred is a little bit of a driver, like where if there's a car in front of him, he's got another gear. But when he's, and it's no disrespect to Pred, but when he's on his own, he kind of loses his way a little bit. And I'd love to see Pred win. To be honest, it would be nice because he's had so much bad luck over the last couple of seasons, but I don't know if he's got it in his locker to defend.
Especially being
Vidal.
4 tenths down now with DRS, and it'll be full ERS. It's got 64%, but Joe's got 40%, so he saved quite a lot on this lap to defend on this straight. So Vidal coming up a little bit of a loss of rear end grip there, going out the last corner, second to last corner. But will he get a chance? He's got DRS.
As
but it doesn't
Coxie's
seem to be
within
closing in
half a
too
second
much.
of Viper. Being his teammate for so long, Liam, what's Pred's mindset going into the season? How do you think he'll cope with leading this race?
I can just hear him in the party now screaming that he's leading. With a very squeaky voice, but I feel like he's got the defending. I feel like he can defend Vidal. He's a very good defender, and I've raced with him many seasons now, and definitely different leagues. And I feel like he can. If I can hold Vidal up quite a lot of times, I feel like Joe can. And I feel like he's got a very good chance, considering there's only one lap difference between their tyres. And if Joe can keep his ERS up to defend, I feel like he's got him. See you by the end of this race.
It's
Talking of
a
ERS,
position that
Viper's struggling.
is he?
Foxy's able to stay with him in the twisty section, mid-sector, and he's got a lot more ERS.
And they don't
Viper's
seem to
not
be closing
closing
in
on
very
Ash.
much. Yeah, they don't seem to be closing in
No.
on Ash as quick as they should be. As
Maybe
he
their
says,
tyres
going
will
2
die
tenths.
from
But Ash
following
is going
Binary
2
so
tenths
much.
now. It's all about, I say it's for Joe and Vidal, it's all about the traction they can get out that massive right-hand bend, because it's a very difficult corner to get grip out of. But
might be
he
in
might have
trouble
a
there.
chance here. He's very close now. He's going to open the DRS. He's got 60%. He's using overtake. Can he get past Joe? He's going to go, probably have to go
Have to
around
go
the
for a
outside,
lunge on
because
the
Joe won't
outside.
let him. But he's cut him off, and he won't have any room to do it. So very good fending again by Joe, sticking the car right in the right position. But here we have
Coxey's
Dow
overtaken
using that
by
hot
Coxey
lap.
is going round the
Oh, and
outside.
He's run
A
wide.
little bit of contact, but
And Vidal's had a
nothing
very
much.
good exit as well for Joe. 33 tenths, but Joe's sticking the car in the perfect position again, where Vidal can't go left or right. He's sticking it right in the middle of the track and making that Ferrari as wide as he can.
It's been a
Dan might
while
have
for
to-
Pred to be in that position in F1XL at the front at the end of the race. Do you think the pressure is going to get to him, or is this going to be the making of Pred?
I feel like he can do it. I definitely feel like he can do it. I don't think it matters if once you've won a race, you've got it. And I feel like he could slowly come back into this championship if he wins this race, or bring a bit more confidence, as Joe hasn't got too much confidence, but this drive is showing that he has got some confidence, and even if he doesn't win, he's getting a podium, and he's showing that he
Rosen's
can
broken on
drive
second barrier.
as good
Hansen.
as Joe
He's
locks up
getting
into
ever so close, isn't he, Frozen? But I'm gonna stay on board with Vidal, because I don't know what the
it's
don't
5-10
think
His
he's
rear
the
end
closest.
is very twitchy.
it might be, but Joe's in trouble here. He's only on 5%, 4% of ERS,
Oh,
he's now on none,
He's pretty much run out.
which means that Vidal's now going to have a very good chance of getting around the outside. Joe closes the gap, so there's only a little bit left, but it's kind of
Oh,
perfect,
goodness,
which
that
has
is
forced him not
close.
to have any room. But Vidal can now use a hot lap and everything to try and get past Joe. He's put in a very sticky situation here. He's got to go a really good exit. I think Joe might have to push him to go around the outside though, so Vidal's going to have to go the hard way around. He's got to go around the outside of Joe. Can he hold it on?
Oh
Joe's now got
goodness,
the
this is
inside.
close.
Can
Ooh,
Joe get ahead of him? No, Byron.
no,
He's got ahead of him.
he's going to get the cut
But
back.
now he's going to cut back. Will he get good now of speed? He's using hot lap and everything. He's going to get a very good exit. Joe's saved just enough so he can use a little bit of VRS. Got 14%. He's going to have to go around the outside again. This is brilliant defending by Joe, and he's locked off a bit, was pushed Vidal a bit wide,
Great
and it's actually
placement.
worked out for Joe. So Joe defending absolutely brilliantly, which is now giving him chance to save some ERS to use on that straight again.
Rosen close to nearly half second behind Hansen, and Coxey is within half second of Viper, but I doubt that the two, Viper and Coxey, will make any more ground now. They've sort of wasted their soft tyre advantage fighting each other in binary. No bias to who comes out on top between Hansen and Rosen, obviously, but please Hansen.
It's very interesting that
Carry
a
me.
lot of drivers getting penalties. As we said, like the only person at the moment to have a penalty was Fury.
That
But
wasn't my
still
fault.
Vidal. It is the game.
Well, is it really
but
only the
Vidal
last
and Binary
corner?
are the only ones to have two warnings. As Vidal's had another chance to see if he can go down the inside again, but Joe's kind of defended it off quite well. But again, Joe's only on
gonna go into the
30%.
back.
Joe's on none going into the last corner, so he's not going to get a great exit, as Vidal, very luckily not to get a penalty there crossing that corner. And Joe only on 6% going into there, but he's again got
Hansen's
a nice
got a
exit as
penalty.
Hansen gets a penalty, which gives Ash Coxey, as Coxey has
Oh,
passed
Coxey's-
Viper.
No,
But
Coxey's
Viper.
only
Oh, Viper
is 3.3 behind Hansen.
Coxey has passed Viper. Oh, he's left the door wide open. though.
Oh, he's left it open. Oh, he was close to
Oh.
touching then.
But it's got to go back on.
Sky's within a second of binary now.
Yeah, Byron's struggling a lot. He must have. I think he might have wing damage on that car, especially his tyres. He must be struggling now, especially how long they'll be going into the race now. It might be interesting that Coxey's still got 2 laps more cleaner, newer tyres than Viper. So it'll be interesting to see if he's got any more on those tyres left, considering he's shown a lot more pace than Viper. He just couldn't get past him. As
Yeah, Viper's pulling.
Vidal's only 3 tenths
pulling
off Joe. But again, he's set now. He's struggled to get past around that thing. So maybe Vidal's tyres might be struggling a little bit with overheating, considering he's been so close to Joe, which is giving Joe a little bit of a chance in this straight to relax a bit. And he's now using none on the straight, so he can save some ERS under the hard braking zone. As locks up and loses the rear end, I think he locked his rear tyres up. It's now giving Vidal a better chance again, going into this last corner to see if he can get a good exit to get Vidal. And he's going to have DRS. He's closing in. He's using hot lap. He's using overtake now. Can he have any chance? It doesn't seem too far back for Joe. So Joe's still defending nicely.
Unorthodox move here. Surprise Joe instead of trying to go for a normal move. Oh, and there's a yellow flag.
Night Fury and Sky, I think.
Yeah. Well, Sky's dropped out the points now. That's unfortunate.
Sky spun to the first corner, last corner. Sorry, it seems to be, and he's got massive front wing damage now in the front. So I think there might be an incident between him and Binary, maybe. I think. Or
unless he just lost control on that, he just caught too much curb on that last corner.
As Vidal's
within
right up, Vidal's right up gearbox of Joe.
He might have to go for it here,
and he might have to get him. Might have to get him early, which he is going to. Joe's outbraked him. They'll go into the corner. Vidal's still looking for the move.
It'll be a compromised exit for Joe.
Joe losing the rear end. That means Vidal's going to have a brilliant exit coming out to the corner.
He's squirming.
Joe's sliding out of the corner. Here's Vidal's chance. He now needs to take this chance, otherwise he's going to lose the chance. Down the straight, they're both using an overtake move. Vidal's got ahead of him, but Joe's going to try and has, and the taps.
Oh, he's
forcing wide off the track, and that means Vidal's lost the rear end. And Joe's going to go for the last corner ahead of Vidal,
and that's it.
Meaning, Mr. Joseph Depressy has won an F1XL Grand Prix. Meaning Hansen lost third place to Ash, and Coxey's moved to fourth.
That's not what Binary would have wanted at all, because Binary now loses further ground to Coxey. I don't know if Binary would know how high Coxey is. Was it that? I don't know. Yeah, maybe 10 points.
I thought it was around that ballpark. 12 points, 10 points?
Yeah.
If so, he's lost 6.
I think we have to invite the race winner just for the screaming.
Can we get the top 3 in?
Yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Or is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is Ash Vidal as well. I've invited Joe.
Such a close race.
Here we go. There you go.
Wait for squeeze.
I'm shaking. Shut up, go away!
We'll try and get Vidal in as well. I don't know if he will join or not.
Frozen's in.
Just need to get Vidal if he'll join.
Oh, he's left.
Sorry.
Oh. There he is. Send him an invite so we should be able to join as well if we can. Ash needs another invite.
So while we get the others in, let's go down the order. Pred wins the Chinese Grand Prix in F1XL, F1, and Vidal comes second. Massive battle between the two of them, well fought out. Frozen claims third because of Hansen's time penalty, which pushes him down to fifth, with Coxey taking fourth. Another good drive from the McLaren driver. Validated Viper, another fantastic drive from Viper, places him in sixth. Binary, not going to be happy with that, but P7. Night Fury Damage in P8. Uncle Ben's Rice P9, and Sinful Chris, the last of the points, in P10 in the Aston Martin Red Bull racing car. So we've got a lot obviously to talk about so far. I think first of all we got to go to Pred, and Pred, congratulations on your victory. When was the last time you had an F1XL victory?
Canada season 9.
So going back a little while, so
Too
you must
long.
be you must be pretty happy with that. Do you think this can now propel you into a championship fight?
I hope so. I just want to my focus going into this game was just consistency versus the last game because I just had some very troubled results and I just wanted to get the basics right and then develop from that. And yeah, I think I've done all right. So
King Liam, I'll let you go off and have a question with your ex-teammate and probably good friend.
Why do it when I leave?
see, it's your fault all this time.
Why? So you've been learning from the best defending. But so how do you
Yeah.
feel about your confidence on your tyres? Because I know you struggle with your tyre attempts and many races of being lost just because of overheating and percentage of tyres. So how do you feel like you did on your tyres today?
The tyres are fine. It was just my problem was the urge charge because I was getting really low and it was so difficult to where to charge up. Because as soon as I backed off, everyone else was closing in, so I'd had to manage it so much, especially going down the back straight.
You got any
Do you have
questions
any
for him, Fury?
questions?
How was it to hold off now for so long?
Horrible. It's the most horrible thing. And first of all, I'd like to apologise to Vidal for that last lap lunge. Kind of shoved him out a bit. My tyres were completely dead at that point. I was just pushing like mad. But yeah, I've got no words.
But Hull left unharmed.
Yeah.
Pred, don't go anywhere. We'll have another set of questions for you in a minute. We'll go to the other guys first. Vidal, congratulations, P2. Incident-packed race for you. Tell us how crazy that must have felt for you.
Mad, absolutely mad. On your screen, what would that coming together like with binary for you?
On my
On my screen, I did not touch him at all. They just randomly just jumped into the wall.
I think I got a
Probably
recording of it.
desync.
All we saw is because of the way the broadcast camera was you try and go back on the inside. We didn't see, well, I didn't see contact on the stream, and then binary just go. So we just assumed that you'd clip the back end as a
That's
racing
on my
instinct,
screen.
obviously.
I moved over to the inside, didn't touch him. The next thing is spinning into the wall. I was like, what? We're mad.
I've just watched replay and there's a very slight contact as you come back across. But I think it's also to do with the desync issue of the game.
All right. Oh, red bad. Well, it
other
feels
than
a bit
that-
cheap, to be fair.
What with that? with
The
binary
second
and-
place, because I feel like I didn't earn it.
King Liam, I know this is going to be an interesting one for you, but any questions for Vidal?
Just one. How hard was you trying to actually pass Joe? Then did you feel like he was defending absolutely perfectly, or did you struggling on your tyres?
How hard was I trying to pass?
Yeah.
I was waiting for the last lap and I turned everything up.
So
Because
you
I
waited
knew
for
that
the
if I
last
saved my
time.
ERS, I think it was lap 27, I just ran like none for the whole lap. And then last lap, I just gave it everything. Yeah. Before that, though, it seemed like I couldn't catch him, though. So I was playing about with my ERS and Rich, Fuel. They just keep to like, he seemed to keep finding like a 10th there or a couple of attempts there, and it was quite frustrating.
Fury,
a very
any
good race between you two,
questions?
so congratulations.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations. Considering the start to your season, how do you prepare yourself each race, knowing that you can't really afford any more slip-ups, seeing how competitive the whole field is this year. But how do you balance that with having to push to get the wins that you need to catch back up?
I don't really do much preparing, to be honest. Like today, 8:30, I jumped on Xbox and did a couple of laps. That's it. That's my practice. I just take it as it comes, to be fair, 'cause I weren't really dedicated at the beginning of the season. But I've decided to knuckle down now. Last couple of races, anyway.
Vidal, thank you very much for taking the time out, and congratulations on your P2. We're going to go to Frozen Gamers now. Frozen, or Ash, or whatever you would like to be called. Congratulations on P3. Were you expecting that? It's quite a crazy race for you.
From a general perspective, no. It probably from the race perspective, probably was a little bit lucky as well. There was a lot of incidents going on, and obviously with the penalty, I knew at that point I could back off a bit, but also a lot of pressure from behind, like Viper. That if you got past Binary, if Binary and Vidal didn't have the incident, that could have been different. So a lot of looking down to it, but I'll take it.
Liam, is there anything you want to add to Frozen for question-wise?
Do you feel like you can Do you feel like you can get bit more consistent now, and feel like you can start battling for leads of these races as well as getting into the championship?
In terms of consistency, it was definitely one of my most consistent races I've done. Consistency's always been a big issue for me. But that one was really good. It turned out for the first time I was attacking someone at the end of the race who was struggling, which has never been the case really for me. In terms of being here again, probably not going to happen too much. Maybe one more this season if I'm lucky. Trying to go for the ASR would be my goal. And that kind of relates to the championship. Probably not in that, but I'll be here when I can.
Fury, anything to for Frozen?
Yeah. We know that Wardell, who is your teammate, had quite a few issues preventing him from racing properly. But it looks like when he's got it clean, you've got quite a bit of pace. Do you feel that you'll be able to work together if he sorts out his issues and collectively push as a group up the grid?
It's difficult. We do talk a lot. We try and discuss things before the race and how we go about things. Obviously today, he took a different approach, and unfortunately for him, it didn't quite work out. He had issues with the tyres, it seemed, in the first laps, which is a shame because he had good pace. He was near the front, and unfortunately, it was all going wrong from the formation up really for him. That's Respan. But I think we can work together. He's a nice guy. Talk a lot. So I don't see why not.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Frozen. Congratulations on P3. Well raced. Definitely Frozen and Vidal. Well done. We're going to go back to Pred. Pred, you seem to be really, really quick in that first sector. You were able to catch Binary, keep Binary under pressure, and then you were in the early stages, and then that seemed to be where you were able to create a gap to Vidal. Is there any reason for it? Have you practiced the first sector
I was literally doing laps this morning. And I got Groovy set up 4. But then what I did was, when I pitted for mediums, I bumped the front wing up to 5, so I could get a bit more front end, and like that way I could bomb it a bit more during like the first and middle sector. Then I could try and save a bit more as going down the back straight, and that's what I was doing for the last 18 laps.
Liam, have you got a final question for Pred?
Do you feel like this will help Ferrari, considering what's happened to Ferrari? Do you feel like that will kind of push them up and give everyone a morale boost?
Hopefully. Where did Boris come? Did he retire?
He didn't finish. Pretty sure he retired.
Well, Hopefully he doesn't do that the next race, but it should be a good foundation for us to build on, hopefully.
Fury, a final question for Pred?
No, but thanks for putting on a great stream for us, or a great race for the stream. And good
Very
luck to
welcome.
everyone in this party next time out.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Fury and King Liam, thank you very much for helping out the hosting side of things. Fury, I'm sorry that you've had a terrible start to the season, a terrible race. But Vidal, Pred, and Frozen, I've said that an order that doesn't make sense. Congratulations on the podium finishes. Well done. Good luck at round 9 next time out. But for now, King Liam, have you got any final words for the stream, for the race, at all?
It was
As
nice to
my
be here.
co-host.
It's nice to be in the commentary
Thanks for
booth.
having me.
It's a bit different to racing and trying to win races, but yeah, it was a good race to watch and commentate with you. It was nice for Fury to join as well, and congratulations to our top 3.
Fury, any final words for yourself?
Well, I hope this is the first and last time I'm in the commentary booth for a long time for this season, whilst I'm signed up as a driver. Hopefully some of the people coming up from F2 decide to be a bit more sensible on the first lap, especially for being a champion. But yeah, apart from that, can't wait for
Fantastic.
next weekend.
No hidden messages there at all. I don't know what anyone is thinking.
There would be.
Fantastic.
AD, what?
Oh,
I hope you all, guys who are rewatching the stream enjoyed the stream. It's been a fantastic race, and for those of you who don't know, we do F1XL Extra on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock UK time, or BST time, whatever you want to call it. Please come to that, give it a watch, because we've run down all the leagues in F1XL. But for now, that's us over and done with, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Oh yeah, I also have to stop the stream.
Lovely.
I've not